Welcome, everyone, to Working People, a podcast about the lives, jobs, dreams, and struggles of the working class today. Working People is a proud member of the Labor Radio Podcast Network and is brought to you in partnership with In These Times magazine and the Real News Network. The show is produced by Jules Taylor and made possible by the support of listeners like you. My name is Maximilian Alvarez, and I need you all to be brave and strong for today's episode. As we speak, Israel's military is invading and obliterating what remains of Gaza City. After 700 days of genocidal bombing, shooting, forced starvation, the systematic destruction of schools, hospitals, farms, refugee camps, roads, houses, the entire infrastructure of civilian life. The Palestinians who are still clinging to life in Gaza City are now being exterminated, while others run or limp for their lives with nowhere safe in Gaza to go. As the world continues to watch and scream in utter horror, Israel continues its monstrous efforts to prevent us from seeing the truth of what it is doing, deliberately and criminally targeting and killing my colleagues, fellow journalists, and media workers. As Al Jazeera English reports, quote, the Israeli military bombed Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis on Monday, August 25th. Killing 5 journalists, including Al Jazeera photographer Mohamed Salama. In total, 21 people were killed in a double-tap strike, one missile hitting first, then another moments later as rescue workers and journalists arrived on southern Gaza's main medical facility. The attack comes as Israel has intensified its offensive to seize Gaza City, the main urban center in the enclave of 2.3 million people, despite a famine being declared last week. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed the attack was a, quote, tragic mishap, end quote. And 4 more Al Jazeera journalists were killed by an Israeli strike in Gaza City just earlier in August. And among them was 28-year-old correspondent Anas al-Sharif, who had been reporting continuously on the war since the beginning. And Al Jazeera said that 3 others were killed in that attack. Among them were freelance cameraman Mohamed Aliwa and freelance journalist Mohamed al-Khaldi. Israel even tried to say that Sharif was, quote, the head of a Hamas terrorist cell, but has produced little evidence to support that, Al Jazeera wrote. And we actually republished the text of Anas al-Sharif's final message to the world over at The Real News. And we'll link to that in the show notes for this episode. But that's not enough. Interviews like this one that you're going to hear today are not enough. Documentary reports from Gaza and the West Bank, like the dozens that we've published in the last 2 years alone, it never feels like enough. Nothing will ever feel like enough because by definition, by result, it wasn't enough to stop the inhumane slaughter that we've borne witness to in Gaza these past 700 days. Nothing will ever feel like enough now or in retrospect, because we can never get back the stolen souls of all our Palestinian brothers and sisters who have been murdered. The survivors can never recover who and what they have lost. And we can never get back what humanity has lost by allowing this to happen. I feel this so deeply every day. And saying I'm sorry will never, ever be enough. And still, we keep fighting. We fight for life itself, for peace, for justice, for truth. As our fellow journalists and truth tellers confront evil, industrial slaughter, and cruelty beyond measure, and still, somehow, keep reporting until their dying breath. We must honor them and their sacrifice, and we must honor our duty to humanity by lifting up their voices and carrying on their work to lift up the voices, stories, and struggles of others. As best as we can, we must do that. And that is what we are doing here today. What you're about to hear is my conversation recorded over a shaky Zoom connection with Mohamed Abu Tawila, a former English teacher, and his nephew Abdul Rahman, a would-be college student. Both of them are Palestinians in Gaza right now. And we talk about their daily reality fighting to live in the midst of a genocide that's lasted for the past 700 days, in the middle of a 22-mile open-air killing field. We also talk about the incredible, vital, and dangerous operation that they have developed to secure and transport clean water to people around Gaza who are clinging to life and have no other access to water to drink. You can see exactly what this operation looks like by following Mohamed's Instagram, which we've linked to in the show notes. They use crowdsourced money that people donate online to rent trucks and buy fuel, which is extremely expensive and in short supply in Gaza. And then they deliver treated water to fellow Gazans who desperately need it. And I actually learned about Mohamed and this remarkable mutual aid work thanks to brother Brian Toshman. And I just wanted to give Brian a huge thanks for connecting us with Mohamed and Abdul Rahman. When we recorded this episode on Friday, August 29th, only Mohamed was able to maintain a good enough connection to record this conversation with me live. But Abdul Rahman was able to record his responses to my questions and send them to us. So we've stitched everything together here in this episode. Again, I beg you to be brave and strong here. I beg you to listen to every word that they have to say. I beg you to help us get their story and their struggles heard. And I beg you to keep fighting to save their lives and to stop this slaughter. Thank you. Mohamed, Abdul Rahman, my heart is absolutely broken knowing what you, your family, and your people are going through. And I just want you to know that all of us here at The Real News and all of our listeners and viewers are with you and sending our love and solidarity to you. I want to ask if we can start by giving people an understanding of what is happening in Gaza right now. You know, Israeli forces are invading your home of Gaza City as we speak. To start us off, could you both give our listeners an on-the-ground account of what is happening in Gaza right now as we record this on Friday, August 29th?
I am Mohamed Abu Tawila from Gaza, especially in the north Gaza City. But now I am evacuation from the south with my family because my area and our neighborhood was completely leveled by Israeli occupation war. Like 2 million other here, we have been suffering through with genocide for over 691 days. Children are terrified, still screaming and sound of bombing. We live hour by hour, but never knowing if we will survive the next day. What makes it worse Uh, it's no safe shelter, no electricity, no clean water, no health care. Families are forced to sleep in tents or under plastic sheets in crowded camps, exposed to disease and hungry. And the situation here is very difficult here in Gaza. And our house was destroyed in Shijaiya area. And we now in the south in Deir al-Balah with my family. We live in a crowded room. Right now, it's fear and evacuation all the time and movement from one place to another. We hear drones all the time, shelling and bombing all the time, especially at night. People keep evacuating from one area to another, carrying children and a few bags. The roads are broken, the phones cut in and out, and hospital and shelters are overfulling. And here, the everything things is very expensive because the occupation is closed crossings. And when withdraw the money, the commission it costs very high. This is everything here is very hard. Uh, I hope to live safe and dignity and without of sounds of bombing. Everything here is very difficult.
Firstly, I want to thank you for this interview that we hope it will spread our sound to the world. I'm Abdul Rahman Muhammad. I'm 19 years old. I'm in high school. If there's no war, I'd be in my first year at university, but we have lost all our rights in life. For me, I'm going to answer your questions in 4 points. First of all, I wanna tell you about our life before this war so you can compare life before the war and the life now. For me, as Abdurrahman, I was supposed to have achieved my dreams of joining the College of Medicine and Surgery. My life was bright before this war. I was a shining star in science and mathematics competitions, and I had friends, house, big garden, and I have my pets before the war. I lost everything. I lost my friends, my relations. I lost my house, my garden, my pets. Until now, we have been in high school for 2 years, and the ministry has not been able to hold exams due to the lack of capabilities and places. The second point is displacement. It's the hardest moment in the war. The moment of clearing the memories of the place. The moment of disputing death. Bombing everywhere. You are under bombing. You are homeless. You are hungry. You are angry. Hearts are crying and bodies are bleeding. Sudden evacuated prices, exorbitant prices for transportations, Then you sleep in the street till you find a tent or a place contains basic staples of life. The third point is getting food in the famine. This part shows that food sometimes is more expensive than human life. In the famine, people kill each other to get food. Merchants in the American Center occupation kill people by hunger and shooting them in aid distributing centers. Thousands of children suffer from malnutrition, lack of food. Young men, old men, and women fall in the streets from hunger. This is a diabetic patient, and this is heart patient, kidney patient, pale people, hungry children, poor patients, exorbitant prices, so babies and their parents left the life hungry. The fourth point is medicine and medical tools and equipment. My grandfather, my dad's father, left us before a few months. He was patient and there was no medicine. My other grandfather, as Mohammed's father, is a cancer patient. He is not in a good health now. Here is no healthy food or medicine or medical help. And here is injured people and bombings. Every day there's over than 70 injured people in bombings and in aid centers. There's many injured people and children. Doctors here in Gaza cannot or do not have abilities to do operations because of the lack in medical tools. The most dangerous thing now is a dangerous illness that's spread in Gaza right now. It's GBS virus. It makes people unable to move. It ends with death of their if there is no medicine. One of our relations is suffering of this illness since a month and the medicine isn't found till now. The occupation do not allow medical equipment to enter Gaza. My message to the world is that the dream of every family in Gaza now is to live this life together without see anyone of the family live in burn, or to live a decent life without homeless and displacement, without hunger, to live in home and free Palestine.
I know it's truly impossible to communicate what life is like in the middle
Yes,
of a
yes.
genocide. But I want our listeners to understand what you are going through as much as possible. Can you tell us what your daily life in Gaza has been like in these last few weeks?
Uh, each days start with water and bread. We wait in long line. We check who is safe, and we look for medicine and phone charging. We sleep in a crowded room, ready to move if the bomb come close. Every small things, clean water, candle, a call from family feels like a victory. And when provide water, many families under the sun for a long hour, and many children and many women come water to destination destination and long lines is very hard, and the situation very hard here in Gaza.
And I mean, people are starving and dying all around you, correct?
That's it. Yes.
I want people to also remember that this violence of occupation, this genocidal violence, did not start on October 7th, 2023. Can you remind our listeners what life was like for you and your fellow Palestinians in Gaza before October 7th?
Life was hard, but it was life. We had long power cuts and little war, but we had the school, the sea, family visit, and the dreams. People study, opened small shops, got married, and tired to build a future. We wanted the same simple things. Everyone wants safety, dignity, and a chance. Before 7 October, I am English teacher, and I am uh, study many children in the school. But now every thing is a change, is completely changed. And our life is a change. It's hard. No work, no school. Every school is completely destroyed. And every children to the street to provide water, to sleep the tents. Very hard
It's
situation.
like you said, you know, life was hard before, but it was life. And now it sounds like every day is just a struggle to survive. And part of that survival is finding clean water for people to drink while they're being starved. And you are trying to get people clean water in Gaza. Can you talk to us about your efforts to get people in Gaza clean water?
The idea came because in the place we were displaced to, there was no water at all. We struggled daily to find even a small amount for drinking or washing. Then we thought of the other displaced people across Gaza facing the same or worse. I connected friends aboard, and with their donation, we bought water tanks and distributed them for free to families who had gone day without clean water. Some children were drinking unsafe water, causing illness. That when I realized water was not just a need, it was a matter of survival. Survival. Water is life. Without without it, families cannot cook, clean, or stay healthy.
And can you tell listeners why there is no clean water in Gaza?
In Gaza, there are no clean water because the occupation destroyed the main public, and the fuel is very expensive here, and many trucks here cannot go to provide water because the diesel is very expensive, and the cost of water tanks is very expensive. So many people cannot provide water, and many water tanks cannot go to the camps and tents because the routes is bombing, and many routes is bombing.
And so for our listeners, what Mohamed is saying is that, you know, under the Israeli occupation, bombardment, and blockade, you know, water systems have been destroyed. Water treatment plants have been destroyed. Roads have been destroyed so people can't get water to refugee camps. This is what is happening in Gaza right now. I know I have to let you both go, but with the last few minutes I have you, you know, this show is about workers, by workers, and for workers. Working people around North America and around the world are going to listen to this conversation. What final messages do you have for them? What do you want to say to them from Gaza? What can working people do to stop this horror?
I am asking everyone, give us the human in your eyes. Use your voice. Share the truth. Call for protection of civilians and support aid getting them fairly. Help families supply water, food, medicine, shelter. We want life, safety, and a chance to help. And don't forget us.
Thank you, Mohamed. We will not forget you. And we won't stop fighting for you and everyone in Gaza until this horror stops. I am so sorry that the world has let you down. And my heart is with you. Thank you, brother. I'm sending love and solidarity from Baltimore.
Thank you for the kind words.
Mohamed, did you see the videos I sent of the Microsoft workers?
Yes, I am video. I see this video. We feel we are not alone.
You are not alone. Solidarity, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that is going to wrap things up for us this week, everyone. Once again, I want to thank our guests from Gaza, Mohamed Abu Tawila, and his nephew Abdul Rahman. You can follow Mohamed on Instagram, and you can learn more about and support their efforts to get people clean water in Gaza by clicking on the links in the show notes for this episode. And of course, I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to thank you for caring. We'll see y'all back here next week for another episode of Working People. And if you can't wait that long, then please go explore all the great work that we're doing at the Real News Network. We do grassroots journalism that lifts up the voices and stories from the front lines of struggle, and we have lifted up so many voices and stories from Gaza and the West Bank, but we need your help to get people to hear them and see them. Sign up for the Real News newsletter so you never miss stories like this. And help us do more work like this by going to therealnews.com/donate and becoming a supporter today. It really makes a difference. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and may God help us all. Solidarity forever.
When my face you no longer see, I live on, yes, I live on. Wherever we go, we are going to roll the Union on. A song, I live on, yes, I live on. Wherever hungry are we, just as hungry can be. The song, I live on, yes, I live on. Where mean things are happening in this land, is read or sung, I live on, yes, I live on. Wherever the book mean things are happening in this land is read, I live on, yes, I live on. Wherever the videotape of me is shown, I live on, yes, I live on. If I have help to make this a better world to live in, I'll live on, yes, I'll live on. When my body is silent and in some lonesome grave, I live on, yes, I live on. When my songs and poems are read, I live on, yes, I live on.